I think the future of broadcasters is actually sort of remarkably healthy. I think the way the broadcasters sort of obviously have to think about themselves in the future, though, is not so much as the old traditional linear TV broadcasters, which indeed sort of all of them know now and are sort of moving away from that, but more, as it were, visual content providers who are looking to monetize their content in a variety of different ways. So, for example, increasingly we're seeing broadcasters move into online video on demand, and that gives the opportunity to break in there into as it were, the bucket of digital advertising spending. Obviously, in terms of what you can sell with your content, subscription VOD is another route, addressable TV also as well, which interestingly, the evidence seems to suggest it takes it from direct mail rather than taking it from other areas of the TV ecosystem. So actually, what the broadcasters have in terms of visual content still very much is actually in demand by consumers, even amongst millennials. People are not watching dancing cat videos all day. There is still very much of an appetite there for good premium content. And if that's the case, then the broadcasters are in a very good position to exploit that if they can get their strategy right. Well, there's a difference you have here between what you see in the US and what you see, for example, in Europe. In the US, of course, the broadcasters sort of have been sort of further down the line in terms of monetizing new sources of revenue. So you see this with CBS. And of course, there's been the whole sort of debate over retransmission revenues in the States. Obviously, look at Hulu now in terms of what's it doing in terms of advertising. You're going phenomenally well, and also as well have a subscription VOD service as well. So I think there's definitely a view to be made that the European broadcasters are slightly behind where the US broadcasters are at the moment. But if you were to take it in Europe specifically and who seems to be doing well, we would highlight ITV in terms of it has a very credible content arm, also as well in terms of online video on demand. It's making very good inroads into that particular market, and it's concentrating very much on its strengths. If you look at the other broadcasters and where they are, different broadcasters have taken different routes. RTL has gone down more the ad tech route, the programmatic route, as well as also having content by itself. ProSieben has diversified its revenue streams into areas such as e-commerce and dating, which is not typically what you would associate with a normal TV broadcaster. If you look for places, for example, such as Spain and Italy, in terms of the broadcasters, more conservative markets sort of within there. But again, they're making those sort of transitions as well. I think one thing to emphasize with the broadcasters is, in terms of the impact of Netflix sort of on their respective markets, again, you have different impacts depending on the market that you particularly go in. So the sort of impact of the new subscriber video on demand services sort of will differ from market to market, and that will also dictate the actions of the broadcasters as well. Well, if you take Apple Plus as simple proposition, it's another subscription video on demand service where effectively it just had its own content and doesn't actually buy in libraries from other content providers. So there's an argument for saying that essentially it would be a boost for the production of the content production industry. There will be another provider there looking out for premium content, and that's obviously very, very good. It's very, very interesting when you look at sort of Apple's overall strategy. The question is, what exactly is the end game here for Apple? Does Apple believe that it can grab a significant chunk of the TV market, or does it think that essentially having Apple TV will help sales of its Apple hardware products? If you take Amazon with Amazon Prime, there's a very strong argument for saying that essentially having TV for Amazon is really about driving up membership of Prime, which in the UK, an average Prime customer will take nearly 25 times more things on Amazon than a non-Prime customer. So I think one thing that's not entirely clear yet in terms of what Apple is doing is this a significant play for the TV market itself, or is it essentially to feed into another part of their strategy?